What's going on, folks? Devon Banks here, back in the bass basement. And on today's episode, we're talking about crankbait colors to get you bit. It's all coming up. Thanks for watching. You know the drill. Hit that subscribe button. Now, when it comes to crankbait colors, there is a huge variety out there, and I want to give you my breakdown and my process on how I choose crankbait colors so I can fish efficiently and get bit on the water. So I break it down to a couple of factors. Matching the hatch. What's the forage? Is it blueback herring? Is it shad? Is it perch? Is it crawdads? Is it bluegill? And then I'll look at the seasonal patterns. Is it spring, summer, and fall? And then I'll look at the water clarity. Is it clear, stained, or that muddy or dirty water? So I factor all three of those elements in, and then I choose the colors that I feel confident in to go out there and catch fish. So right out the bat, let's get right into talking about spring. Springtime is that time where the fish are starting to move out of their winter haunts. They're coming into those shallow areas, hitting points, secondary points, and then they're hitting those flats. As they start to move and hit those points, hit those staging areas, they are staging around rocks, wood, cover, which would be stumps, logs, laydowns, as they start to get in those flats where they start to spawn around docks and things of that nature. So seawalls is a good area where they stage and spawn as well. So we want to look at those areas. So springtime fishing, water temps are in the late 40s, early 50s, and we're looking at areas, like I said, rocks and things like that. Well, what hangs around rocks? Crawdads. And the water could be stained to semi-stained. So we're looking at colors that are red, that match that crawdad colors. So we're looking at colors such as this right there. That's a great color in the Berkeley Dime. Here's an orange that matches that crawdad pattern. And then once we get shallow, you know we got to throw a Berkeley Fritz side. This is that special red craw. This is a great color to throw during this time of year where fish are lethargic. They are feeding on crawdads, and that's a great color to fish as well. So that's that springtime fishing. When we get to summertime fishing, we are looking at water temps are in the 60s and higher. Fish metabolism is getting a little bit more aggressive, and now they're still roaming the shallows and look for an easy meal. What are they keying in on? Well, they're keying in on shad, they're keying in on bluegill. So let's go right into some bluegill patterns. Here's a bluegill pattern right here, Berkeley Fritz side again. And then let's go to a shad pattern. This is the HD threadfin shad on the Fritz side. And those are some colors that are very good as well. Here's the Midnight Pearl shad patterns. We're matching the hatch. And water could be clearing up a little bit, and that's why I'm going to those type of colors. The lake is starting to thrive, it's coming alive, and everything is moving, and fish are eating those type of forages, those type of bait fish. The water is stained to muddy. What am I going with? I'm going with colors such as this. This is a chartreuse with black back. Great color to use in stained to muddy water. And then also I go to a chartreuse to brown back. This is an awesome color as well to go to that stained to muddy water. That chartreuse sort of pops and stands out, especially when these baits deflect off of cover. They deflect off of rocks and boulders and stumps and logs, and as you parallel the bank, fishing riprap, they bang off those rocks. Those fish could be thinking that could be a crawdad, or could think it's a bait fish. They strike that bait. Also, when you're casting along docks and seawalls, same type of premise. You want to deflect off cover to get bit in that stained water. That chartreuse really pops out and stands out. When we think about fall fishing, what are the fish doing? Similar to what they're doing in the spring. They're feeding up, They're getting ready for the winter. Water temperatures are starting to cool down. Same type of deal. We want to look at baits that match the hatch. Shad colored baits. Baits that match the forage. What are they eating? Bluegill. Or you start hearing about fall fishing. You got the Ozark lakes. What are they eating? They're eating crawdad, right? They're eating baits like that are in those rocks, and those fish are keen on those. That's the forage. So don't be surprised that you're really going to go right back to what you're throwing in the spring to throwing in the fall. And you want to make it real simple. When it comes to clear water, we're talking about visibility, where it's 4, 5, 6 feet of visibility, and you're looking for smallmouth or even largemouth. But in my mind, I'm thinking smallmouth. I'm a smallmouth guy, and you're on areas like lakes like Lake St. Clair, Lake Oneida, Lake Champlain, St. Lawrence River. There's always a crankbait bite on the lake, whether it's shallow or deep. There's always a crankbait bite on the lake. You may not get the size that you want, but there's always fish feeding on a crankbait. That's my thought process. So going back to clear water with a lot of visibility, 4 or 5 feet deep, or even able to see the bottom, you're looking at baits. When I think of clear water, I think of clear baits. And I'm thinking of baits such as this. This is a Berkeley Dime. This is a translucent bait right here. You can see through this bait, and this bait, as it's cast and come through the water, in that summertime vibe with clear water, these fish are able to just quickly strike this bait because their metabolism is high and they're highly aggressive. They're starting to get in wolf packs, starting to get ready for fall, and they're feeding. When you get them in their feeding groups, this is a great bait for them to throw as well. You always want a translucent bait when you're fishing for smallmouth. You definitely want to have a shad pattern bait when you're fishing for smallmouth on your deck. And then you also want to have a bait that looks like a perch when you're fishing for smallmouth. When I'm fishing for smallmouth, those 3 colors are always on my deck, because if they're feeding and they're hitting a crankbait and you're covering a lot of water, at some point in time there's going to be a collision with smallmouth and a crankbait, and those 3 colors are ones that I have high confidence in to be successful on the water. So that's my guide on how I choose colors for crankbaits. It's highly successful for me, and when the fish are on a crankbait bite, you'll know it and you'll pick the right colors, and I hope this guide helps you. What colors do you use to be successful on the water in clear, muddy, stained conditions? What colors work for you? What are your favorite crankbait colors? What do you think of this guide? Let me know in the comments below. It helps out a lot. So folks, don't forget, live life to fish, and I will see you on the water.